We are doing a comparison between the GoPro 10, two different modes. One is 4K 60 with extra wide view without having the extra plus linear stabilization on, horizon lock, and the other is horizon lock on, 1080 60. Two different roller coasters here at Disney, and I want you to watch these side by side and see which of the two you think looks more stable or more flowy or whatever you think, because these are modes that the GoPro 10 offers, and that's sort of important. So watch the footage and let's talk about it after. Oh, it's so bumpy. The Matterhorn here at Disneyland, California, 4K 60 on the GoPro 10. Hopefully you guys enjoy that footage. That's what it's like. It's bumpy as hell. The camera doesn't show how bumpy it actually is because of stabilization on these cameras. Later. We'll go over here. Think which one was better? Prefer it with the horizon lock on. The problem with the GoPro and the horizon lock, and it angles too much, it sort of flips and does this thing like so instead of staying locked. Unless you have the max mod lens on, then it doesn't do that and it stays perfectly level the whole time. Definitely something to consider before you decide which way you want to shoot with your camera. Now that I've had time to look at the footage in much greater detail, we're going to go over it and talk about my views, what I think is the better option for you to use if you're going out to Disneyland with friends, family, things like that, or just doing some kind of vlogging versus action sports. Both of these fields of view are crazy stable. The GoPro 10 is just a crazy stable, great camera all around, audio, video wise, as long as it has plenty of light. We're not going to dive too deep into the poor performance that the GoPros offer us in low light, and we're going to just keep our fingers crossed that the GoPro 11 or GoPro Pro, whichever camera comes out hopefully this October, makes that much better. So if you have a GoPro 10 or something earlier, you already know that the low light performance in these cameras are really nothing to write home about. They get a little shaky, the stabilization sort of disappears, as you can see, especially in the wider field of view in the dark or the semi-dark areas of the Matterhorn ride. But as soon as you get outside or with enough light, you see both modes are pretty rock solid on the stabilization. I do think zoomed in with the horizon lock on the stabilization outside as well as inside is way greater than just having the Superview super wide field of view. Let me know in the comment section below what you're hoping that the GoPro 11 achieves versus the GoPro 10, because as far as audio and picture quality go, the only thing I can see them really improving is higher frame rates or a larger sensor to be able to make it work better in these low light conditions. Let's jump right into the 4K footage. Now remember, I did upscale this footage and this is on YouTube, so the details that you see might be a little different than what I've seen while I was editing this video. Since there is no horizon lock while you're using Superview or wide mode, when I was riding the roller coaster, I was doing my best to keep the camera exactly in line with the carts so that when the carts would lean, the camera would lean with it. Now in the 1080 mode with horizon lock on, you probably did not notice any leaning. That is because horizon lock was on and it gets rid of all that until you hit that angle that's just a little bit past what the camera can do without the max lens mod. For this particular activity, I liked that the horizon moved on the Matterhorn with the carts, because it just sort of brought you in and it let you feel sort of a little bit more of what I was feeling. Where on the 1080 with the horizon lock on in linear mode, it really zooms the camera in. Yes, it's crazy stable, but it doesn't let you really take in everything, and I feel like you're not getting that same vibe like you're really there with me. Now normally I do shoot in 1080, but in this instance, the 4K footage, it looked really nice when I was editing it. You could really see a lot of details in the trees as I was coming outside of the mountain versus the other coaster that I rode, as well as in the rock formations in 4K versus the 1080, which was not necessarily blurred out, but it didn't look as detailed. Now you might not be able to see that because this is on YouTube and it does squash those details to some degree. Let me know in those comments below if you could tell a difference in the details. Just to quickly sum this up and give you my final thoughts on which way I think I would use this camera if I was going to Disneyland or if I was going out to do some kind of family adventure. And the answer to that is both ways. Let me fill you in just a little bit more what I mean by that. I personally think if you're going to choose between 1080 and 4K, that's a personal thing. It's really up to you. I do a lot of 1080 because of file sizes and I keep almost everything I film. So I have to have tons of hard drives even just for 1080. I can't even imagine how many hard drives I'd have to keep if everything I filmed was in 4K. That and the upload time to YouTube is much shorter in 1080. And the majority of people who watch my channel, this channel that you're watching right now, watch on a phone, which means that the 4K and the 10K really don't make a huge difference. Now, what I do think makes a giant difference is the field of view you're in. I think for anything you're doing that has even an inkling of activity or active kind of things going on, like the roller coasters, maybe skateboarding, or even running with your family on a track or wherever. If you're doing things like that, I really think that the wide field of view or super view is going to be your best bet. And then when you switch back to a talking head or more of a vlog type style where you need to put the emphasis on the person talking to you, my reaction was it sort of tasted like soap. You want to zoom in like we just did here. By switching fields of view, it also makes your video a little bit more interactive, a little bit more engaging, because Our minds tend to get bored if we just hold the same shot over and over. So by jumping back and forth, it does actually break up the view and helps your viewer, you, stay a little bit more engaged to the end of the video. So that's why I think mixing them together is really your best option. Not so much the 1080 versus 4K, but the different fields of view. I truly think the GoPro 10 is my most used camera right now, even over my Canon and all my 360 cameras. I'm constantly blown away at how good the audio is, especially if you put a wind slayer over the camera, which kills all the wind noise. I find that $7 to $10 mod way better than buying the media mod and the audio on the media mod. I will link in the description to those. If you don't have one, I would highly recommend getting one. And the camera stays waterproof if you don't attach the media mod. That's just amazing to me that the audio we get out of this thing is from a waterproof camera. I really have no idea what GoPro is going to be able to do to improve on the GoPro 10. I'm very excited to see what the GoPro Max 2 brings to the table. That's a completely different video. If you want to hear more about that, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Click that bell notification so you don't miss it whenever I do upload new content. And hopefully this helped you if you are using a GoPro 10 or even an older GoPro. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you, that's right, you, in the next one.